That's Chris in Greenwich. Chris, I think that's a reasonable point. Martin says, Ali, I visited the Louvre a few weeks ago. Not only was there an entry price, and a steep one at that, the charge is double for non-EU residents, i.e. 44 euros and not the 28 euros that you quoted, says Martin in North London. Martin, it's always good to get intelligence from the ground. Thank you for that. Should museums charge for entry? 0345 973 text 84850. Ali Mirage on LBC 140.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC. Prime Minister in office, but not in power.
There's only now a matter of when he goes, not if he goes.
A government that's a bit of a joke and falling flat. But if the government loses a crucial by-election in Gorton and Denton next week,
what we all need to do now is drive the pace of change. That means greater unity.
is it time to handy over to Andy? Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Back tomorrow morning from 7. Listen on our free global player app or the LBC app.
For years, petrol set the benchmark. Hybrids cost more. Efficiency paid extra. Today, BYD reset the benchmark. Electric intelligence costs less than petrol. Advanced technology, real efficiency, or compromises. The BYD Sea Lion 5 DMI Super Hybrid SUV from just $29,995. Find out more and book your test drive at byd.com/UK.
The Philly cheesesteak is back on the prawns and it's still intensely cheesy. Imagine the cheesiest thing ever. They'll cover it in cheese and two big patties and cheddar cheese sauce, crispy onions, and even more cheese. The Philly cheesesteak. Did we mention it's cheesy? Available until the 16th of March 2026 from 11 a.m. Please apply to delivery orders. Present participation may vary, subject to availability.
It's hard to concentrate when you're worried about your health. It can feel like there's a wall between you and the rest of the world. Like you can't be fully present. Hello, AXA Health. How can I help? At AXA Health Insurance, we build our teams with people who care. So when you need us, we're here to support you. For cover that cares, search AXA Health Insurance. Pre-existing conditions are not covered.
We're helping make roads safer. We're continuing to roll out lower speed limits because 20 miles per hour roads have already seen 24% fewer collisions causing death or serious injury. We're also improving junctions to help keep you safe and improving visibility for our bus drivers with new wing mirror cameras. Search TfL Improvement Plan. For the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters. Comparison of collisions data before and after implementation of 20 miles per hour speed limit.
Bring your pensions together into one easy-to-manage online plan with PensionBee. Because when your pension is in a good place, you're in a good place. When investing, your capital is at risk.
And when teams feel supported, they can achieve.
Sorry, just had more of my team will fail.
Have you tried Benenden Health? It's easy to set up. They've got a GP helpline you can book 24/7.
Where were we?
Coffee break, hopefully.
Press play on your people's health with a wide range of healthcare services for less than £16 per employee per month. Search Benenden for business.
60973.
Mirage on LBC 148. Should museums charge full entry? 0345 973 text 84850. Linda, I'll come to your call in a sec. Juliet says this. Hi, Ali. It's hilarious listening to people say, oh, it should all be free. Do they not know that they are paying for it to be free? And more importantly, our children and grandchildren will be paying for it to be free. People have no idea of the economic hole we are in, and that gets bigger and deeper every single day. Julian, you're right. We are paying for it because almost half the money comes from the public purse, as I understand it. So we are effectively paying now. The question is, one that Mark Jones, the former director of the V&A, raised, which is universal free entry is very regressive and inequitable because it means that people who don't go to galleries and museums regularly at all or if ever are supporting people who do, and people on lower incomes are also subsidising people from the middle classes that can afford to pay. So is that fair? Your thoughts on all of it. Should museums charge full entry? Linda in Perth. Good afternoon.
Hi, I think I'm kind of along the lines of the, I want you to say the city, but it was a very part of a city. I happen to know the guy who runs fundraising. He'd had his grant cut by 6%, which was a massive, massive blow. And there was another group who were more along the lines of, I think they were a sort of musical type group who had managed to keep theirs. And this youth centre, I mean, there were people giving their stories, you know, their testimonies of how they had needed the youth club. One of them, 14-year-old, who she was pregnant. And she had no one to turn to. She came to them, they helped her with baby clothes. And as he said, our youth club is so vital to these children. They come here for warmth and all these sort of things. So, I mean, these are the sort of things that we have these days. There's so much money competing.
What's the meaning
to
of
help
this?
What does it mean? Things that, I mean, if I want to go to a museum, I go to a museum. You know, it doesn't matter if it's free. If it's £10, I'll pay £10. And it does give me a great feeling.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I just don't think it's, in times like we have now, that it's reasonable to expect things that are kind of, well, I mean, some people say, oh, they're not a luxury, but, you know, in comparison to some of the needs, I think if people want these things, they can most solve. And you could have some sort of grading system or something.
But then, Linda, you've heard from some people who've said that, you know, they came from backgrounds where they didn't have a lot of money, and actually it had a profound impact on their lives, because if their parents had to pay to take them or send them, they may not have gone, and it might not have resulted in some of the life choices that they've made. What about those people then, Linda? What was there some means test entry to museums?
I'm one of them.
Okay.
I mean, I came from a poor background, and I did get occasionally taken to the theatre or something. Profound effect in my life, and I know that the struggles we had as children were far outweighed any feeling that I got as I with the age of now men or an art gallery.
It's an interesting point, Linda. Let me ask you this then, very, very directly. I mean, Nick Merriman, I mentioned it before, leader of the Horniman Museum and Gardens and English Heritage, former leader of them. He said that you just get more middle class people going. That's what he's saying. Do you feel the same, Linda? At the moment, that's the...
Well, I do. I mean, for the non-will in the world, I'd like to think that it wasn't that, but it tends to. I mean, I know myself. I mean, I have a lot of friends who like it, but then I'm an accountant. They're, you know, in different jobs. They all like to go. None of them need to get it free. But, so it tends to be that, and it's nice that we can, you know, get some people interested. But you don't actually need. I mean, you can see some of the things that are in museums even online now.
You can, I know, but it's not the
it's a lot of money to subsidise.
I understand wrong with that.
Like that, like myself, who, as I say, had some benefits when I was young from it. It's this current situation. I mean, if people were willing to pay lots of tax, and we could all have subsidies, it would be great.
Well, you know, I think Zach's idea of like charging £1 could work, but it's not going to break the bank for most people. I mean, some people might not be able to afford. Linda, before I let you go, Lee has just messaged in saying, why can't we get these exhibitions out of London to the rest of the country so we can enjoy them? Hearing all these whinging Southerners on about having to pay for the future makes me laugh. We're paying for the up north but never getting anything. Linda, you're in Perth in Scotland. Is that fair?
We've got
some good museums up there.
We've got a brilliant Perth museum, and actually it's free.
And you've got DNA Dundee as well.
And we got the DNA Dundee.
What about the other out there?
I'm sure there are nice ones. I mean, I know there's nice ones down in London, but no, you do, if you look around, we've got a couple of the museums.
Yeah, good to hear. Linda, good to talk to you. Thank you. Karen, keep well. Karen in Leeds. Karen.
Hello.
Hi. What would you like to say, Karen?
Well, my point was that the taxpayers are already paying effectively for a visit to a museum or gallery.
Good point.
So effectively, it's not that we're not paying anything. And if you use the argument that if you're not using it, you're subsidising somebody else, you could use that for an awful lot of things.
You could use that for kids, for parents who send their kids to private. It injects herself with microscopic molecules sourced from amniotic fluid. Don't try this now. Stating nothing, I'm not saying any of this stuff, just to be clear. In total, she spent £500,000 on anti-aging therapies over the last 5 years. You might like the idea of dying and going to heaven, but I'm
day, one day, we just wear the face, go to church.
The pursuit of immortality is typically
So
a
we don't
young
know how
man
much place before we
championed
don't
by
want face.
American entrepreneurs. With the involvement of Brian Johnson, 48, infamously infused his blood with his sons, and every year subjects his body to hundreds of tests and scans. Mark Zuckerberg, who's in his early 40s, has spent millions funding innovative anti-aging treatments along with several other billionaires. Then there's Sands, this lady, 87-year-old, who may be the oldest biohacker in the business. I didn't know what a biohacker was, I must confess. Apparently a biohacker is an
Hello
individual
Shans underscore the
who
underscore
uses
barber.
science, technology,
The
and
AdSense for YouTube
self-experimentation
account link your YouTube channel Shans underscore the underscore barber was successfully changed. All future payments will be processed through this new account. View details. ID PUB 3489312920912167 status. Pending date associated. The 22nd of February 2026, 1356. Didn't request this change. If you're not aware of this change, someone else may have recently accessed your account. To keep your account secure, please do the following immediately. Reset your password. Change your associated account. If you need additional help, please visit our help center. Yours sincerely, the YouTube team.
Various inducement drugs, whatever they are. I don't know what they are. I'm not here to comment about the efficacy of these treatments at all. That's not the focus of this. The focus of this is to ask you this question. Should you want to live forever? Should you want to live forever?
So that means that we already have one. I mean, realize.
It's interesting because
But tell me if you have AdSense, I mean, I get paid.
do you want to live forever? Kind of bit like
What is AdSense?
1986. Who wants to live forever? Well,
Huh?
What is
pretty much a
AdSense?
reset. There's no chance.
It's like account
It's
is
all decided.
to pay you.
This world has only one sweet
That
life.
we have one already.
Who wants to live
Set up one.
forever? Well, I think that's a moral question. And I want to explore that.
Pay enough for them, verify.
To explore the element of which elements. First, you can tell me, do you want to live? I'd be interested in your philosophy behind why you would want to live. How the world might turn out. Is it the desire to be there for your loved ones? Is it the desire to have longer, to make an impact in the world? Is it the desire to watch Gogglebox for longer, for another 20 years? Is it the desire to see how society progresses? What would be your motivation for wanting to live forever, if you so do? That's number one. Number two, should you want to do it? Because it's a moral question, isn't it? It's a moral question because, and I think it comes down to a much more philosophical, and for those of us who are religious, and I'm a Muslim, I believe in the afterlife, I do believe that there's a day of judgment, and I do believe that there's a hell and a heaven, and you're going to be questioned on the day of judgment, and that will determine where you go. Now, some people might regard that as a completely archaic belief in a sky god, and you're entitled to your moral liberty society, but that's my
government
can.
feel better.
Please explain why. Because I guess there are arguments against, arguments for. I spend your life with euthanasia system dying or anything else, then that's your prerogative too. Others would say you have a duty to others, to try and alleviate the suffering of others, or your dependents by not being around, unless you're not a very nice person, in which case there might be actually really a point of something around. But anyway, their religious beliefs that life is a gift and you should pursue it for as long as possible. All of these arguments are for life is a gift to the forever. You should argue that's against the prerogative forever. Justice and ending inequality concern that life extension might be only available to the wealthy. If you're a self-respecting billionaire and you're investing in the longevity of drugs and everything else, that might be the thing. But you see, what starts with billionaires can end up with tomorrow. So I think that there is a broader moral question here for all of us to consider. And it's certainly much more being looked at by the majority. You could argue that death is necessary for societal progress. I mean, if there's no cycle of life, how does society progress? I mean, more older people taking up more and more resources, healthcare, NHS, all these other things, will drag on the state. Sorry to be blunt, fine, you know, and loss of meaning as well. Would this lead to total boredom if you were alive forever? It's a philosophical question, so I want to explore it with you, because this 87-year-old who's living in a market in London wants to live forever, and she's spending a shed load of her own cash in investigating and investing in treatments to do exactly that, and she's hoping that she actually can. I mean, she's also spending £400 every few months on having her blood sort of, £400 a session every few months, her blood is sort of infused with ozone, and then added back into her body in a treatment that was £400 a session, and reportedly maximises oxygen metabolism. What do you make of all this? I myself find it downright weird. I really do. But who am I to say? Should you want to live forever? 03456060973. Text 84850. Andrew in Alpha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Do you want to say something?
I think I'm speaking from the absolutely ancient years of 70 years old. And under current circumstances, I can imagine nothing really worse than living forever.
Why is that?
I mean, well, at the moment, I've got two dodgy knees, a dodgy ankle, I've had my hips replaced, I've got, let's say, prostate cancer developing, the back that's untreatable. So just imagine going through life, just being eaten up by cancer, etc., you know, and it's not a past now to look forward to.
It's not, but if there were to be, if you could live for another 20, 30, 40 years, Andrew, there might be a cure for cancer, and then you'd be kicking yourself, wouldn't you?
It's a case of, but then it comes down to the philosophical case. Do you want to live forever, or do you want to stay young forever?
That's another question. Now that's a really an interesting question, because is this then about thriving? I mean, say if you're not having a good quality of life, does your perspective change if your quality of life is high? Now this 87-year-old, she's going 10,000 steps a day, she's going to Kew Gardens, walking all around the place, saying that her friends can't keep up with her, and she just basically goes without a partner because her friends can't keep up with the pace. So I guess, Andrew, you say that your perspective on this question will change depending on your faculty.
everyone with step-free access. We're continuing to improve accessibility at many of our stations, and now over 200 stations and counting have step-free access, including the entire Elizabeth Line, DLR and Umtram stops. That is how we're making the greener way to travel more accessible to all. Search TfL Improvement Plan. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters. Greener than total estimated petrol and diesel car emissions.
Calling all young creatives. It's time to get ready for the content production industry. And why better than Global Academy? Here's Daisy, a technical content production student in Year 12.
I've already learned how to create content and work with employers in the media industry. I love working in the studio, making my own podcast, and can't wait to start my 45-day work placement next term.
Global Academy. Apply now and join us in Years 10 or 12. GlobalAcademy.com.
Looking for a fixed passive income backed by real demand with ULEZProsperity.com. You buy the car, we rent it from you for a set period. You stay a legal owner and we pay you up to 6 months in fixed rental income. No hassle, no maintenance, no tenants. It's a straightforward asset-backed rental agreement. Visit ULEZProsperity.com for conditions and to learn more. That's ULEZProsperity.com. Simple, steady, secure. LBC 0345 6060973.
Morning, Roger, LBC 217. We're asking you a philosophical question on a Sunday afternoon. Should you want to live forever? 34560600973. Text 84850. 187-year-old absolutely does. She's a biohacker. She's going to Panama. £300,000 is going to be spent on a rejuvenation cocktail that she has designed in collaboration with an American lab in Houston. The cocktail is made up of 3 components: clotho, a protein for enhancing brain function, follistatin for building the muscle mass, and SIRT, an enzyme that helps boost energy levels. Don't try that at home, seriously, don't. They're spending about £300,000 on therapy on her partner, and she wants to live forever. What do you make of it all? 03456060973. Early in Watford, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ali. Regarding this lady that wants eternal life,
Yeah.
possibly, she's found a way of taking her with her.
Okay, right. Spending her wealth on increasing her life.
Well, if she's found a way of taking it with her, this must be a breakthrough, surely, and probably there might be a lot of other people that might be interested in that.
Maybe let's examine that a little bit, because Victoria's texted in from Glasgow, and she said, Ali, if this elderly lady is biohacking, and biohacking, by the way, for those who don't know, and I didn't know, it's an individual who uses science and technology to optimize their body and brain function, extend their life, basically.
Yeah.
If this elderly lady's biohacking does not extend her life, and it's proven to, yet again, it's only the super rich that will have access, I believe that doing what we can to be healthy, but ultimately it's all in God's hands. I mean, Ernie, do you think that the actual idea in principle of wanting to live forever is a laudable goal in itself?
No, I don't.
Why?
Well, personally, I wouldn't want to live forever. For the reasons is that, obviously now I'm on my own. My dear wife passed away after over 50 years of marriage, and obviously I've got a family, which I look forward to, and still look forward to do, but no, I wouldn't want to live forever, Ali, because obviously I could never kind of live forever, knowing that, that what I've had, I could never find again. Do you understand me?
Yeah, explain that a bit more. I mean, this is interesting. Explain.
Well, it's something that when you find something like, a marriage that works,
yes,
between the two of you, and works fantastically well, and you just know, Ali, that there would be there's no way you can replace that. There isn't any way you can replace what's gone,
But isn't that part of life then? I mean, but this is the part of what we have to deal with as humans, right? Which is dealing with loss, dealing with love, grief, and all of these things, which are human emotions, right? If that is all effectively taken away, and all the taxes come in, and it was living forever, if your family and friends don't live forever, also, well, let's assume that everyone can live forever in a theoretical world where it's not just reserved for billionaires if they can achieve it, right? So it becomes like the Henry Ford approach, that everyone can live forever. I'm just not convinced, Ernie, that that's a good thing in itself, even if you were healthy and fit. Do you?
No, it's not a good thing at all. You know, I mean, regarding obviously, you know, what you talk about grief. I mean, you kind of introduced grief into this scenario now, and I mean, my way of dealing with grief is the only way I can deal with it, and I think it's, well, I know it's successful. Grief is the consequence of everlasting love for someone.
You put it beautifully. And if there is no grief, how do you appreciate love? I mean, this is very deep and philosophical on many levels, because it's quite a seductive thought, isn't it? That if you could live forever and your knees were not giving out and you were in good health, that would be a very attractive thing to do, but I'm not sure it is. And I also think, from a personal perspective, I mean, one of my friends always told me that you always seem to be in a hurry to achieve things. You want to sort of leave a legacy. And I'm not leaving a legacy in some sort of like American billionaire sense, right? I'm just trying to do my bit here. But if it's a sense of urgency and that life wasn't finite, I'm not sure if you would have the same drive to actually get things done. It's only because you know that life is finite and you don't know how long you have that it spurs you on to do it. And I was speaking of someone who lost his father when he was 47 years old. He had a heart attack suddenly. So that, to me, sort of adds the urgency into it. Ernie, very good to speak to you. Thank you for your perspective.
Yeah, thank you, Ali. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Keep well. Renee in Manchester. Renee.
Good afternoon, Ali. First time speaking to you, but a long time listener.
Thank you.
But cut a long story short, 65 years old.
Yeah.
I don't want to live forever. I've lost a husband, 2 husbands to cancer, right? I'm on my own again. When I was 11, me and my twin sister, we lost our mother to cancer. My father brought us up, right?
Yes.
Cut a long story short, when I was 38, I had major stomach surgery. I obviously totally fit of it. I had an out-of-body experience. I went through a white tunnel. I saw my mother. She crossed her legs across.
Yep.
She wore a lovely suit, very smart. And she said, I've had 2 girls, you've got health. 2 girls, your time's not right. And she pushed me down, right? Got over surgery, very ill. A month later, weeks later, came home. I said to my late husband, anything wrong? He said, not really. He said, I'm going to tell you something. After operation, the surgeon came to see me. He shook my hand. He said, you're very lucky, sir. We nearly lost your wife on the table. And I said, no. And I said, no, David. I said, no, it's an out-of-body experience. And as I've got older, I have got more psychic. I have a twin sister who lives in America. She's been psychic for years. But me, I've been in and out of things. But very late, in the last, since I lost my dear William, my husband, last April, I've become more psychic.
So Renee, let me ask you this question. Let's just extend it out a little.
Yeah.
If you hadn't lost your husband, and if we could all, in theory, have these elixirs that keep our life, keep us going in decent amount of health indefinitely, would that appeal to you? Or would you?
No.
But then what would the argument be? Because you could use the argument that, well, yeah, but...
Sorry, life is part of death and death is part of life.
Exactly.
It's a cycle.
I'm so private. You know,
the expression I have, the gentleman just said it before me, grief is the price you pay for love.
I honestly think it's very profound. It's actually making me quite moved, honestly, this. Because... and you actually say that it's part of the circle of life, right? Grief is the price you pay for love. If there is no grief, and this is perpetual, then does life lose its meaning in some way?
Yes, because you've got to feel grief, you've got to have, a lot of people have no feeling, but when you lose someone you love, the grief never goes. You learn to live with it. I lost my mother when I was 11.
I lost my father. I lost my father just for my 11th birthday, and I understand. I do understand.
And I think, grief. We've got to do. I think we don't discuss about death, life, and things. I mean, look what happened to William and Harry. Right, they lost a princess here, but they lost their mother. With all the money in the world, it helps, but it doesn't take it away. It was their mother, right? And their grief. But they were only young, especially Harry. He was younger than his brother William. And now, still suffering. He's angry, loss of his mother. People have done more. Before you go, I must tell you something, Ali. I believe there's a God. My father, I'm of the Jewish faith. I'm certainly Jew. I believe live and let live. My father came from the Holocaust. And if he could go through that and what he saw, and what he did to survive, then you can do anything.
Thank you very much, Renee. I really appreciate your call. And I think Renee's put it into a broader context there, which is the circle of life. That you appreciate life and death, and grief is the price you pay for love. I think it's a very elegant way of putting it. Grace and Neely, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm instinctively not a spiritual person, so I tend not to kind of think or feel much about things that we can't scientifically measure or directly analyse and assess for ourselves with our own eyes and ears. You talked a bit about this last year, I remember, how actually there are scientific arguments to conclude that a God exists, and subsequently I looked into the reasoning to conclude that Jesus actually wrote, and so because it seems to me because he did actually write, eternal life or heaven if we choose to come to him rather than earning it.
It's a long time plate. Probably it's a long time plate and it transfer it over to this.
I don't really think much about spiritual things, so it's not also what crosses my mind. But what does cross my mind very often that's something that we can hold on to when life sucks, and also that in the midst of all the complicated things going on in this life, it might be better not to spend your resources on trying to just make yourself live a few more years. I don't think that having a few more years when you're in your latter years would necessarily be the best thing to strive for in terms of overall happiness or joy. I would rather have the money put it towards helping people respond to currently dying.
Thank you, Grace. Sorry to rush you. We need to go live to this press conference in Mar-a-Lago.
The detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can to have with you. So that's what we know now. Investigation continues. The FBI is the lead investigation agency on this case, and we will be assisting them in whatever manner they would like. And they will be responsible for answering any other questions at an appropriate time.
Good morning. Again, my name is Brett Skiles. I'm the special agent in charge for the FBI's Miami field office. First of all, I'd like to thank the Secret Service and Palm Sheriff's Office for their quick response in this matter and close collaboration. Since this area of the shooting was under Secret Service protection at the time, the FBI is assisting the investigation. Currently, our evidence response team is processing the scene, collecting evidence, and we'll continue to work the scene for as long as it takes. One thing I would ask the public is if you live in the area of the shooting, please check your exterior cameras for last night or this morning. If you see anything that looks suspicious or out of place, please contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or contact the West Palm Beach Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Rafael Barros. I'm the special agent in charge of Secret Service Miami Field Office. Earlier today, two special agents from the Secret Service and a deputy from the Palm Beach Sheriff's
office were involved in an officer-involved shooting while responding to an armed individual at one of the gates at Norwalk. Preliminary information indicates that the individual was armed with a shotgun and a possession of a gasoline canister. Agents and the deputy discharged their firearms to stop the threat. At this time, no law enforcement personnel were injured during the incident. We want to be clear, the President of the United States was not in the state of Florida. And this remains an active investigation by the FBI. Thank you.
Okay. This is the picture that I'm going to give you of a shotgun and a gas can, so you got it with us.
Small one.
There's a little more investigation.
Yeah, so a small one.
FBI is the lead agency.
Was on the Secret Service since his 20s. His identity is being withheld. Pending notification of next of kin, the individual's background, actions, potential motive, and the use of force are currently under investigation by the FBI, the US Secret Service, and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. More on that. We'll keep you abreast of it as we hear more. The question, of course, is should you want to live for
You've just been e-secret. Residents in Florida. In a statement, they says the individual was carrying what appears to be a shotgun and a fuel can. President Trump is currently in Washington. The Shadow Education Secretary, Laura Trott, has told LBC she doesn't want to see any support taken away from parents of children with special educational needs. Government reforms to the school system are due to be outlined tomorrow, which includes details of SEND support. And a 20-year-old man who was stabbed to death at the skate park has been named. Mason Miller died following the attack in Northampton on Wednesday afternoon. LBC weather for this afternoon. Much of England and Wales will be dry and bright. Heavy showers for bright spells further north and west with a high of 14 degrees.
This is LBC.
If you bought a home on a holiday park in the UK, what you thought you were getting, read it today at hillary.co.uk. And hurry, for Hillary's sale ends on the 9th.
Burns host. Out of some prescription.
Just tap the NHS app.
I've already got.
GP health record and request repeat prescriptions anytime, anywhere. Before it boils, and turning on notifications means you'll know the moment you get a new message. We're delivering an NHS fit for the future. Never miss a message. Request repeat prescriptions and more when you tap the NHS app. It's hard to concentrate when you're worried about your health. It can feel like there's a wall between you and the rest of the world. For the present. Hello, AXA Health. How can I help? At AXA Health Insurance, we build our teams with people who care. So when you need us, we're here to support you. For cover that cares, search AXA Health Insurance. Pre-existing conditions are not covered.
This is LBC with Ali Mirage. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa. To LBC.
Ali Mirage on LBC. It's 2:36. Should you want to live forever? 345 60 973. Discussing this because an 87-year-old biohacker increased the longevity of their existence is going to Panama to spend £300,000 on cocktails to try and extend their life. Is investing in this area. Many billionaires are doing the same thing. What do you think about this? Should you want to live forever? And if you were of that ilk, if you do want to live forever, why? What do you want to achieve that you haven't already achieved in your life? I mean, why would anyone want to live forever? If indeed you do want to live forever, and if you don't, what's your perspective? 345 6060 973. Jude says this. This is classic. Another one here. I'm 83 and would like to live forever.
Yes, yeah. I'm alive.
And the live.
Yeah.
So you do it, delete it. So
The music, you come and turn on the music, innit? Garnet set, pick up on Garnet set music.
how much was it again?
Still get 7 points and we get 7.
There's a way you could have to go to, you know.
Just delete it and done.
So go on the desktop, which tell you where they and you just put something there with me before, but then about it. Just go right this out on YouTube. If you go by YouTube Studio, it will be
then nobody would have queued. They look